Now, what I was saying, well, you already know who it is. It's your boy Pico, the City Brown. This is the show One on One Talk, and yes, I'm the host, Pico. If you haven't already done it, feel free to go over to YouTube and subscribe to my page. Subscribe to my channel. That's Pico the City Brown, the One on One Talk PTSD. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. You can also follow me on TikTok at Pico City. Hit the follow button. Tell a friend, you know a guy that has a podcast. So hey, there you go, spread the word. But I was saying tonight's topic is an independent woman. Is a independent woman a miserable woman? Is an independent woman a miserable woman? Okay, there's two ways you can answer that. There's two. One, there's nothing wrong with being independent. I'm not talking about the fellas. I'm talking about the sisters right now. But there's nothing wrong with having an independent woman or being an independent woman. You get up every day, you wash your face, brush your teeth, you get in your car, you go to work, you clock in as X amount of time, you clock out at X amount of time. You get the money, you get your check, you pay your bills, you pay your car note, keep groceries in your house, whatever. You put your kids through college and you buy your kids, whatever. It don't matter. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being independent like that if it's for the right reasons, and all for the right reasons. That's the good side about it. Now, the bad side is you're an independent woman, but you want everybody in the world and their mama to know you're an independent woman. These are the women that say, well, I'm independent. I could do bad by myself. We know you can, because if you just be honest about it, 9 out of 10, everybody can do bad by themselves. That's just how that goes. That's the way the world works. Two, I don't need a man to do nothing for me. That's two flags right there. Three, well, I already said I can do bad by myself. I don't need no man. If I be alone, I just be alone. That's just the most stupidest thing a woman can say and a man can say. I'll throw both of them in the pot with that one. Now, the reason why I say is an independent woman a miserable woman, I would say yes. Because no matter what you got, no matter how big your job is, no matter if you're a lawyer, a big accountant, a big CEO of a company, that's not in the cards. And what I mean when I say that's not in the cards, it's not the way that it's supposed to be. You know why it's not the way it's supposed to be? Because if you read, and I know some people might not agree with this, but I pretty much put the Bible in everything I say, because that's the way you have to back up your facts. If you read Genesis to Revelations and the other 13 books that they took out, Jesus, the Lord, Moses, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, anybody who wrote the Bible has something to do with writing the Bible that was inspired by God. He never said anything about, I make man. Okay, bam. I make woman from man. Men have to work to feed his family. That's true. You don't work, you don't eat. You support your wife. She submits to you, and you have to take care of your wife. That's law. But there's no book in the Bible that say when a woman gets a certain age, she has to be independent and she has to let the world know, and she has to carry this nasty demeanor that she don't need anybody. Because if you say that, look at the world. Most women in that field, so do we. I have no idea what that means. But if you look at a woman in that field, they can't be 100% happy. If they do, 9 times out of 10, it's something they're not telling you. Because if they're 100% happy, just hear me out for a second. If they are 100% happy, that means you did something that God never ordained you to do. Now, that may be twisted. Y'all may not understand what I'm saying, but I'll say it again. You ordained yourself for something God has no do in it. I just said it different, but you know what I'm talking about. Man is supposed to take care of a wife. That's true. A wife's supposed to submit to a husband. That's also true. So you have to come together. He didn't say, you know what, if you go out on your own, you just gonna beat all odds. No, but deep down inside, people are miserable whether we like it or not. People are miserable. That's why you have so many sisters on these podcasts and these shows they quick to deflect and blah, blah, this and the other. But if somebody with knowledge come break it down, they'll break down it. And sometimes they cry. Sometimes they say, you know what, you're right. It's not me. I don't have a bigger voice. I mean, I don't have a big voice like that. I may never will. But you can't go against the grain what God put in us to go for. That's why stuff don't work. And sometimes he just give people what they want. Okay, you say you all this, do it. He'll let you do what you want to do. Just so he can prove to you that you're not going to make it. Now we all rough and tough when it comes to our friends. I don't need this, I don't need that. And men say it too. But we are here to coexist with each other. If we don't coexist with each other, we got to take the other outcome. That's where masculine women come from. That's where I ain't gonna say simp man. That's where men that don't have leadership. That's where that comes from. There's always a what's the Eddie Murphy say? A consequence and a repercussion to everything we do. And that's with anybody. If you go against the grain, just okay. Put it this way. Let's just say, for instance, I'm God. Okay, and I made you guys, and I say my first creation that's in my image is Adam. Make Adam. So you know what? I'm gonna make somebody for Adam so he won't be lonely. Bam, I make Eve. Put Adam to sleep. Bam, take his rib out. Whoop the bam. Here come Eve. And I set laws. You have to be married. That's one. You have to work to support your wife. If you have kids, you got to support them too. That's two. Woman, you have to submit to your man. That's one. Whatever he says, I mean, no matter what conversation you guys have, he's going to have the last word. You can't get mad at me. That's what that submission stuff is all about. I'm not saying don't compromise, but if you run something down to him, he like, you know what? No, we'll do that next time. You can't get mad. Well, actually, you can get mad, but you can't go against the grain. Just like, you know what? Maybe my husband knows best. I'm not saying that men are perfect. I'm not saying that women are perfect. But we got to look at the things that the Creator did. Everything is all messed up because people think they're above and beyond. They're really not. We're only human. I bleed just like everybody else. So that's why it's bad for women to have that mindset. And I'm using the phrase woman because out of this world, there's more women in this world than men. But at the same time, you have more women to say that than men. So when I say stuff like that, you can't come back and rebuttal, say, well, what about this, that, or man made us like that. No, that means only one thing. God is the creator. He created all. He put man ahead of everything. Everything. Remember, when Adam and Eve, Adam was out naming things. So that means that's a big responsibility. Eve had a big responsibility too. I can't leave her out. I will never leave her out. But there's things when he put stuff in order and we go along with the order he do things, that's why things work out. That's why our parents, well, let's just say a bigger percentage back in those days, our parents, their relationships and their marriages worked. Because those women back in the days wasn't talking like these women are now. The men back in the days wasn't talking like the men are talking about, like these men are talking now. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. I was watching a podcast today, and I think she was, I'm not trying to get her nationality, I think she was Cuban or Hispanic or something like that. I don't know. And she was talking to another sister. Well, she was talking to a sister. And she was like, you know, if I'm married, why do I got to do everything? You know, girl, like, yeah, like what? She said, hey, you can cook your own food, which you can. That's not a problem. If a guy want to go in the kitchen and cook, if a guy want to go in the kitchen and cook for his wife, let him cook for his wife. That's nothing wrong with that. I'm not one of those guys that if I'm doing this, you got to do it. Nope. Sometimes I like to fix my own food. Sometimes I can fix my own plate. But guess what? It's the thought that counts. If you running around like a chicken with the head cut off and you got that mentality all your life, you're going to grow up because whether we like it or not, people, what we do in relationships, it sinks over to your marriage. So there's no such thing as saying, hey, I ain't going to do this. You my guy, but I ain't going to do this or do that until we get married. Okay. You get married and guess what? You talk to the guy or you talk to the woman, the brother or the sister. What? Did they change? Nope. They still doing the same thing. So there's no such thing as I only do this for my husband or I only do this for my wife. No. Remember what I said yesterday about changing? You never change, because once you change, that's why I'm not going to say that's why, but look at all the movies and the sci-fi movies and the monster movies. We look at it as for entertainment. Perfect example. And I use one of the biggest I ain't going to say role models. I use one of the biggest movie collaborators ever, Darth Vader. Now, it may sound funny. I'm probably like, what the heck? He ain't got nothing to do with it, but check this out. Darth Vader started off as what? Anakin Skywalker. Young kid. I think he was probably 5 or 6. Real nice guy. Grew up. Fell in love with Padme. They loved each other. He was with Obi-Wan and Yoda and them. He was fighting a good fight. You know, he had to protect the world from evil. But somewhere down the line, Plagueis got into his head. No, not Plagueis. I forgot his name. Palpatine got into his head. That's a prime example of if you're good and you go bad, there's 99.9 chance you won't go back to being good. Look how long Darth Vader been evil. He died. Vader died doing something right for Luke Skywalker. He saved his son's life, but the price he had to pay was death. Think about that. I know it sounds crazy, but think about it. He became Darth Vader, just one of the best Jedi/Siths in the world. One of them. I ain't saying he's the best. One of them. Remember, he started off good too. He had a wife and kids too. Well, I don't know if he had a wife, but he had 2 kids. But what happened? He turned evil and he couldn't go back to being good because he was so full of robotic parts. Long story short, we get so full of jealousy and envy and strife within us. We put stuff in our body that don't belong there and we can't take it back out. I said that yesterday. When you're good, stay good. Because once you go down that road, you ain't coming back. User ain't coming back. But back to what I was saying. No job in this world can overdo what the Lord has put together for man and woman. So you can say it all you want. That's why stuff don't go right. Well, I don't need this. I could do bad by myself. You ain't nothing but a problem. That's going against the grain, man. That's going against the grain. When we talk bad about our brothers and when we talk bad about our sisters, that's going against the grain. It ain't gonna never work. So you can go fall in love 1,000 times and you still have that mentality, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, or I don't need this. He will make sure he give you exactly what you want. Okay, well, you say you want to do it. Go ahead. Now watch all the years you be miserable and watch everybody else flourish and pass you by. And then when you see all of that, you sit down and wonder. It makes you wonder how the other half lives, man. Like, dang, what did I go wrong at? And he'll hit that play button. Remember this? Remember that? Remember this? Remember that? Remember you did this? Remember you did that? You didn't need me? Well, I don't believe in God and blah, blah, blah. God is the one that keeps people. God is the one that keeps relationships and love in order. I said this 1,000 times. We can't do it on our own. So if he wrote something in stone and say, hey, you got to go off this, and you say, no, I don't need a man or I don't need a woman. I'm going to do this my way because the job pay me this amount of money and this man can't support my habits. And first of all, when you get married, you're not supposed to have a habit. You're supposed to compromise everything. Okay, you get married. I mean, you single. You used to buying these expensive purses and the guys, you buying these expensive cars and stuff. When you get married, now you got to sit down and think, I got to take care of my wife first. I got to make sure there's food on the table, stuff like this. And there's certain things you can't do. But until you come with compromising, you're going to always have problems. Always. And that's what I mean when I say a miserable woman, an independent woman is a miserable woman. It all depends what type of woman she is. Woman, newsflash, if you're married or even if you're in a relationship, your job, I'm not saying that's the only job, because you know how black sisters are. They will just hear that. Your job, if you're in a relationship, you got a husband, is to ease your man's pain. Make him feel good. A man go out there and battle the world every day, all day. Some men got piss-ant jobs, but they still hanging to them jobs, man. And the last thing he want to hear is when he come home is your mouth tripping. There's never no, baby, how was your day today? You know what? I appreciate you for staying in there this long. There's other jobs, yeah, but maybe he's not looking for that type of job right about now. You okay? Did you have a good day? Guess what? I'm a black man just like everybody else. I go through crap just like everybody else. Just like everybody else, man. You'd be surprised how many people in relationships don't even care about the other person like that. You remember the back in the days we were young, we used to watch the TV shows, the police shows and stuff, and the man come in, the white man come in, and when as time got older, they started throwing black cops in the picture. They come home, and what they do, they will put their gun and they coat and stuff on the rack. And soon when the wife see him, she go kiss him. Hey, baby, how you doing? How was your day? Oh, baby, I had a rough day. Oh, baby, it's okay. He go sit down. She massage him and stuff like that. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be, because guess what? He ain't got to walk through that door. She ain't got to walk through that door. You may get that call saying, hey, guess what? Such and such was in an accident. It ain't looking good. Now you rush into the hospital, and everything you done to that person, because that's the way God do things. Everything you done to that person here reflected right back on you. Like, see, remember this? And you just sitting there looking. That's what a phrase, I wish I could have done better. But it's too late. They might make it. They might not. So what happened to those days? There's no harm in that. But society taught us what? Nothing. You know what? It's just like making it day to day now. No, you should be happy you see that guy walk through that door. You should be happy you see that woman walk through that door. Because when you're in your four corners in your house, it's somewhat a safe zone. But when you outside, all bets are off. Look at all these brothers just running up to these sisters' cars and yanking them out the cars and unaliving them and taking their cars. These women ain't making it home. These brothers ain't making it home. And some of them have families, some of them don't. But what happened to those days? Somebody got too independent. And like I said, once you independent like that, on the wrong frame of being independent, nothing matters to you. Because I don't need a man. I can be bad by myself. I can do bad by myself. He can't do nothing for me. That, first of all, I'm not here to do nothing for you that you can't already do. Now, we can grow together. We can add to this thing, or we can subtract from it. But we get caught up in the world and our emotions and our feelings and stuff that we don't want to talk about it. No, you better talk about it. Sometimes it's just best to shut up. Most women like to run their mouths. Blah, 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 blah. Loose lips sink ships, man. Sometimes it's just best to be quiet and listen. You know how hard it is for a man to express himself, but a man is not going to express himself to a woman that's always got something to say. And you can quote me on that. Be quiet. Let that man say what he got to say. Maybe if he says something right, it'll spark something in your head, and you might be like, you know what, that's a good point. But you're always combative. You're throwing on your Mortal Kombat clothes. You're always ready to fight. Oh, man, chill out. Listen. Just listen. It's not hard. So it's just crazy how all this stuff happens. A woman, hey, I'm not finna submit to no man. But guess what? You go to that white man job and you submit to him. He tell you to do something, you do it. That same energy you give your boss should be that same energy you give to your husband. And this isn't a stab or a pick at women, but I steady see more podcasts coming out about why women won't do what they supposed to do when you're married. It's all over Facebook. It's all on YouTube. You don't believe me? Go look at it for yourself. And it's not supposed to be like that. But All it takes is the wrong person to hear this live, and they'll think I'm a misogynist, or I'm female bashing. You always talking about. Like I told you guys before, I ordained myself to talk about my sisters because somebody got to show them the way. That's how I look at it. And if you think I'm being harsh about it, there's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing I can do about that. If I can help one, my job is done. But society taught us, you're a strong black independent woman, so freaking what? Okay, you can do this, I can pay my bills. Guess what? You're supposed to pay your bills. You're a grown woman, just like a man is supposed to pay his bills. But independent women are actually, let's just be honest, and before I talked about this show, I had conversations with a few people earlier today, or actually yesterday too. And I'm making my business, when I'm talking about this stuff, I'm making my business to talk to women. And this is funny because this not just me. They all said the same thing. They all agree. When I broke it down, they're like, Pico, you're telling the truth. It don't hurt for somebody to listen and dissect what I'm talking about and just think about it for a second. Heck, some of us know women that's stubborn as hell on this podcast. I know a lot of them. Y'all know a lot of them. But nothing won't be helped unless somebody talk about it. Baby, guess what? That's not the way you treat a man. You don't treat a man like that. Oh, brothers, guess what? Man, G, you bogus. You do not treat a good woman like that. That's funny because out of my years of growing up, I've heard men say this all the time to each other. Very few percentage of women that say stuff like that to other women. And a woman know, let's just be honest, a woman know when you got a good man at home. They know. Sometimes they just won't say nothing just to make sure you leave so they can get them. But lesson learned, man. Lesson learned. So yes, I'm a vote yes. Most independent women are miserable. Just because you got all that money, you can take vacations anywhere you want to go. And they quick, well, I can do this, I can do that. But yeah, you're doing it by yourself. Let's just take me for instance. I'm gonna put myself in the mix on this one. I'm not a rich man. I'm so far from a rich man. It's ridiculous. But I prefer to have sense than money. I'm a brother with sense. Any straight man is going to like the idea of woman's company. That's why you rarely hear men say, I don't need a woman. I'm not saying they don't say it, but most men will not say that because men are not stupid as women think they are. I don't need no woman. No, I like women. Hey, look, I need a woman. I ain't gonna even lie. The next man might need one. And some women are smart enough to say, hey, you know what, man? Look, I ain't on that. I'm not trying to be no Miss Independent boss lady, no bad bee. No, them days is over. Because I'll tell you why those days will soon be over. Let's say a war breaks out. Who got to fight that war? Believe me, the percentage of women jumping up saying we gonna get on the front line, that's very little. Brothers got to fight that war. If somebody come breaking your house, what's the first thing you do? And if TV haven't taught us anything, it can be comedy TV, it can be movies, scary movies. When husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend is laying in the bed and they hear something in the kitchen or a window bust, who go downstairs and checks the stuff? You don't hear her jumping up saying, you know what, Pico, stay right here. I got this. No, men are protectors. So therefore, a man will lay his life on the line for his wife and his family. That's what we do. As long as my wife is okay and my kids are okay, take it out on me, but leave them alone. Because those kids are my legacy. Those kids come from me. That's all I have in this world is my kids and my wife. You can take everything else. Leave my kids alone. Leave my wife alone. We'll rebuild. That's not a problem. It may take us 10, 12 years to rebuild, but we'll rebuild. We're human. That's what we're going to do anyway. But Independent women, I don't hate anybody, but a woman that's got that mindset, that's a dangerous woman. And guess what? I'll just sweeten the pot a bit. That's a dangerous woman for women to hang around. It's not just for men, it's for women too, because she'll take you down just like she took everybody else down. Who wants to hang around stuff like that? I don't. I know y'all don't, and you definitely know I don't. So enough with the independent. Actually, just let it go, because everybody needs somebody. You can be high post today, but it's only a matter of time in a pink slip in the mail or a call to the office when you can have a low income that day. So it really doesn't matter. Okay, look, we all got to pay bills. That don't make you better than me because you got a $500,000 home and I got a $50,000 home. We ain't no better than you. You probably got more. You got more money than I do. Yeah, but guess what? I got a roof over my head. My lights is on. My gas is on. I can go downstairs and cook. I can do everything you do. You probably can have bigger vacations than me or bigger areas to go. But hey, if I keep working and the Lord bless me, I'll get there. I'll see you when you get there. So remember I said this. You cannot go against the grain that God ordained man and woman to do. There is no such thing of an independent woman nowhere in the Bible. Nowhere. And if it's not in the Bible, that means it shouldn't exist. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest, man. I mean, it's pretty much clear as day. There's nothing wrong with having an independent woman. If you ain't got no guy to do it, do it. But that don't mean you got to run that man through the dirt because you ain't got nobody to do it, or I'm better than you. You ain't better than nobody. Ain't no woman in this earth is better than no man. Ain't no man on this earth is better than a woman. Unless I'm from Krypton, then I'm better than you. No, you cut me, I bleed. I cut you, you bleed. It's the same thing. We all got to work to survive. All of us. So nobody's better than anybody. So we really need to stop saying that, man. We really need to stop saying that. But that's just my outtake on it. When I opened the show earlier, I said it was two ways to this. Now you know both ways. It's okay to be independent, but it's not okay to be independent and bullheaded about it and arrogant. Fine, pay your bills, pay your bills. Bills gonna be here when you're dead. Let's just be honest, people. That's just the way the world works. But by you paying your bills, that ain't gonna get you no freaking free lunch. Congratulations, you're an adult. You're supposed to. I ain't seen nobody yet go down to a collection agency and say, hey, I'm pretty. Or a man say, hey, I'm handsome. And they say, okay, we got your picture. You can go, your stuff be on when you get home. They're like, yeah, you are. Run that money though. Run a check. Let me get that debit card or something. So how independent can you really say you are when you're really not independent? Because at the drop of a dime, we all can suffer. But it's going to do it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'm out of time. Don't forget, hit that like, hit that subscribe button at Pico the City Brown on YouTube. Go over there to TikTok. Hit me up on TikTok at Pico City on TikTok. Hit the follow button. I'm your boy Pico. I hope you guys learned something today. I know I did. Until next time, this is